If you're a horror fan, get ready, because 2025 is shaping up to be a terrifying year, whether it's monsters in the dark, twisted minds, or haunted places. These upcoming horror games will chill your bones. Here are the top 10 best upcoming horror games of 2025, coming to PC and consoles. Let's dive into the fear. Little Nightmares 3 is the next game in the dark and creepy Little Nightmares series. This time, you play as two new characters, Lo and Alone, each with unique abilities. For the first time ever, the game can be played in online co-op, or solo with an AI companion. The story takes place in a strange, dreamlike world called The Spiral, filled with nightmarish places. You'll explore eerie locations like the Necropolis, a desert city full of shadows and danger. The goal is to escape this terrifying world, solve puzzles, and avoid being caught by monstrous enemies. The game keeps its signature style. No dialogue, just atmospheric storytelling, creepy music, and tense moments. Like the previous games, the horror is more psychological, focused on fear, helplessness, and childhood trauma. Developed by Supermassive Games, known for Until Dawn, and published by Bandai Namco, Little Nightmares 3 is set to release in 2025 for PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. Silent Hill F is the next main game in the famous horror series, Silent Hill. It's set in 1960s Japan, a major change from the usual foggy American towns. The story follows a young girl who becomes trapped in a world slowly being consumed by a strange, deadly plant. These flowers aren't beautiful. They're terrifying, infecting everything, including people. The game mixes Japanese horror and folklore with deep psychological themes. The writing is done by Ryukishi07, known for disturbing visual novels like Higurashi, so expect a dark and emotional story. Visually, it's haunting, bright colors mixed with rot, decay, and a constant sense of dread. Silent Hill F explores deep ideas like grief, isolation, and slow psychological destruction. It's a fresh take on Silent Hill, with new characters, new horror, and a new setting. The game is currently in development and is expected to release on PC and consoles sometime in 2025.
Status report.
Directive 8020 is the next chapter in the Dark Pictures Anthology, a series of cinematic horror games. It's the first episode of Season 2, and it takes horror into outer space. The story follows a team of space colonists on a ship called the Cassiopeia, sent to explore a new planet. But things go wrong. Very wrong. When a mysterious force begins to affect the crew. As tension rises, trust breaks down, and something terrifying begins to hunt them from within. Like other Dark Pictures games, it's all about choice-based gameplay. Your decisions decide who lives or dies. The game introduces new mechanics like stealth gameplay and turning points, key moments that change the story drastically. It's filled with themes of isolation, fear of the unknown, and survival in a place far from Earth. You can play solo or with friends in online or couch co-op, just like previous entries. Directive 8020 is expected to launch in late 2025 for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Killing Floor 3 is the latest entry in the fast-paced, first-person co-op horror shooter series. Set in the year 2091, the world is overrun by terrifying bioengineered monsters known as Zeds. You play as a member of Nightfall, a rebel group fighting against a corrupt biotech corporation called Horzine. The game focuses on intense wave-based survival, where you and up to 5 teammates fight off growing hordes of enemies. Each wave gets harder, with stronger Zeds and horrifying boss fights at the end. You'll have access to a wide variety of customizable weapons, from shotguns to chainsaws and futuristic tech. Expect brutal, gory combat with slow-motion Z-time moments that make every headshot feel epic. The graphics are a huge upgrade, with more realistic blood, destruction, and terrifying enemy designs. Whether solo or in co-op, teamwork, skill, and fast reflexes are key to surviving. Killing Floor 3 is expected to launch in late 2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series.
Worth giving up yet. Such is our calling.
Cronos: The New Dawn is an upcoming sci-fi survival horror game from Bloober Team, known for Layers of Fear and The Medium. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic future, where humanity is nearly wiped out by a mysterious catastrophe. You play as one of the last survivors, exploring a dark world full of ruined technology and terrifying creatures. The horror comes from both the outside world and what's happening inside your own mind. Strange biomechanical monsters roam the ruins, mutated by science gone horribly wrong. The gameplay combines exploration, puzzle-solving, and tense survival moments with limited resources. Visually, it has a bleak, cold atmosphere with a mix of high-tech ruins and decaying structures. The story focuses on themes like identity, fear, genetic manipulation, and the cost of human progress. Expect emotional storytelling, disturbing discoveries, and moments of deep psychological horror. Cronos: The New Dawn is planned for release in 2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. The Sinking City 2 is the sequel to the 2019 Lovecraftian detective horror game, The Sinking City. This time, the game puts a bigger focus on pure survival horror rather than detective work. It's set in a dark, mysterious, flood-ravaged city, inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. You'll explore decaying streets, haunted mansions, and waterlogged ruins filled with terrifying secrets. Strange creatures lurk everywhere, mutants and monsters from beyond human understanding. You must survive using limited weapons, solve puzzles, and uncover the truth behind the madness. The game focuses heavily on atmosphere, psychological horror, and cosmic dread. Expect disturbing visuals, a haunting soundtrack, and a sense that reality itself is slipping away. Developed using Unreal Engine 5, the graphics are darker, richer, and more immersive than ever. The Sinking City 2 is expected to release in 2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Reanimal is a cooperative survival horror adventure developed by Tarsier Studios, creators of Little Nightmares, and published by THQ Nordic. You play as a brother-sister duo struggling to rescue their missing friends and escape a twisted, nightmarish version of their home island. The game supports online and local co-op, or can be played solo with AI controlling your partner. Players explore both by foot and by boat, uncovering environments beyond the main path in a non-linear fashion. The tone echoes Little Nightmares but is darker. Claustrophobic atmosphere, oppressive tension, and eerie visuals. The camera system is unique, a shared, directed angle that keeps both characters in frame, heightening tension and co-op synergy. The monsters and environments are inspired by fragments of the siblings' past trauma, giving emotional depth to the horror. Gameplay features stealth, environmental puzzles, and resource constraints, emphasizing strategy, not just running and hiding. The narrative is minimalistic, majorly told through environment and visuals, although both protagonists are voiced. Reanimal is slated for release on PC, PS5, Xbox Series, and Switch 2 sometime in late 2025 to early 2026.
Be at peace. There must be no violence.
Caroline, I'm scared.
Tormented Souls 2 is a classic-style survival horror game, inspired by old-school Resident Evil and Silent Hill. You play again as Caroline Walker, the main character from the first game, now searching for a cure for her cursed sister. The story takes place in a remote and eerie South American town, filled with dark secrets and twisted enemies. Expect terrifying environments, creepy hospitals, crumbling cathedrals, and fog-covered streets. The game uses fixed camera angles, giving it an old-school horror feel and constant tension. Combat is slow and intense. Use limited weapons and healing items wisely. You'll also solve challenging puzzles that are deeply connected to the story and the environment. The enemies are grotesque and symbolic, reflecting Caroline's trauma and inner fears. Visually, the game is haunting, filled with shadows, blood, and surreal imagery. Tormented Souls 2 is expected to release in 2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and Nintendo Switch. Heartworm is a retro-style psychological horror game, inspired by classics like Silent Hill and Fatal Frame. You play as Sam, a young woman haunted by grief, trauma, and memories she can't escape. She travels to a mysterious abandoned house, searching for answers, and something begins to follow her. The game has fixed camera angles, giving it that old-school cinematic horror feeling. Instead of guns, Sam uses a camera to defend herself against ghostly enemies. The gameplay includes exploration, creepy puzzles, and unsettling encounters with the unknown. The world feels dreamlike and wrong, filled with silence, shadows, and things that don't belong. It explores themes like loss, mental illness, and what happens when we can't let go of the past. Visually, it uses a PS1-style aesthetic with low-res textures and eerie lighting to build atmosphere. Heartworm is expected to release in 2025 on PC, with console versions possible later.
Like they're lab rats. God only knows what the Baron's planning to do with those monsters.
Originally planned as DLC for Dying Light 2, it grew into a standalone survival horror game. You return as Kyle Crane, now older and haunted after 13 years of captivity and genetic experiments. The tragedy turned him into part human, part zombie. He now possesses a powerful beast mode for superhuman strength and brutal attacks. The setting is Castor Woods, a dense rural area resembling the Swiss Alps, complete with forests, swamps, resort ruins, and industrial zones. The game blends intense parkour traversal, including rooftops, cliffs, and now even a drivable vehicle. Expect a tense day-night cycle, slower zombies by day, and horrifying volatiles prowling at night. Survival elements return with scarce weapons, crafting, weapon degradation, and ultra-lethal night encounters. Co-op for up to 4 players lets you tackle the horrors with friends or go it alone. The story centers on revenge. Crane hunts the Baron, the scientist who experimented on him. Techland calls this a compact, self-contained experience, approximately 18 to 20 hours, with a tightly crafted narrative. Dynamic weather and enhanced AI deepen the horror. Nighttime is when the real terror begins. Developer quotes say they're returning to the original Dying Light's level of fear, focusing more on horror than action. The game bridges the narrative gap between the first two games, making it accessible for new and old players alike. The game releases on August 22, 2025 for PC, PS5, Xbox Series, PS4, and Xbox One versions follow later.
Kyle, E&F is an old chemical factory south of the city.